Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of The Elite, the Elite Count. I'm greatest second place champion and the face of the 3 count Mafia, War Machine MJ, and I'm here today to talk about week 4 of the Wednesday Night War. How long before that phrase gonna runs out, I'll never know. Anyway, this was a, no pun intended, a Dynamite episode. With the exception of one match, all these matches were bang up 5-star burners. So let's go ahead and jump right in this, shall we? We kicked off the show, no video package whatsoever. Straight into action as we had the next round of the AEW Tag Team Championship tourney kickoff as Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, and Mark Quinn take on the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix. This was an absolute barn burner of a match. These two teams came in, tore it up, looking for that trip to the finals, and just wow, just a display of modern tag team wrestling. Oh, I've got this list running around. It's called the Disgustingly Athletic list. The DAL list. Or the DA list. Disgustingly Athletic. It's basically talents who are so good, who are so athletic, it is disgusting. And names on there are as follows, no particular order: Ricochet, Ospreay, Pac, Rey Fenix, because he does incredible-ish with the while walking the ropes. Nick Jackson of the Jackson Bros. Let's see, who else? Private Party, they're on this list. And several others I'll prattle off on a later date, but yeah, Private Party and Rey Fenix definitely take the cake as disgustingly athletic in this competition. Pentagon just vicious and nasty. Anyway, towards the finish, however, Isaiah Cassidy ate a package piledriver double stomp combo from the Lucha Brothers, and they will go to the finals next week. And speaking of which, we went ahead and kicked off the next semifinal match as SCU, the tag team of Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, took on the Dark Order, the team of Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Dark Order really haven't made that much of a splash. I mean, don't get me wrong. Stu Grayson he's pretty excellent as a technician. He does some crazy things. Evil Uno is deceptively agile. He could bust out some cannonballs like one Kevin Owens, except for Evil Uno is pretty hefty. But they're not known for anything else other than, hey, look, it's the guys with the gimps. They're creepers and they're thrown. Speaking of disgustingly athletic, Scorpio Sky makes this list because he was all over this match. That man has no business being that good in a tag team. There's your next mid-card singles champion right there. Anyway, speaking of Scorpio Sky, him and Kazarian picked up the win by hitting the SCU later on Stu Grayson. So yes, in the finals, who didn't see this one coming, it's going to be Lucha Brothers taking on SCU. And of course, news broke earlier this week that the winners of the tag team tournament will be anointed champion by former NWA, not WWE, former NWA tag team champions, and pretty recently too, the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, come on. First you get Bret Hart to show off the big bad hardware. Then you get, Morton and Gibson to anoint the new champions. AEW's pulling out all the stops. So next was a rematch from AEW Dark. Let me go ahead and segment about AEW Dark. Go check it out. It runs every Tuesday, and they upload dark matches you don't get to see. Also, there's a mini documentary on there called From Unwanted to Undenied. It's basically where Cody Rhodes sits down with trying to think of the word. Basically, the unwanteds of the wrestling community, and who were undenied by AEW. The first one, they talked with Aubrey Edwards. The second one, the most recent one, they talked to I forget the dude's name. He showed up on all the earlier episodes of Road 2, but yeah, it's really fantastic. So yeah, check out AEW Dark every Tuesday. But yeah, had a rematch from that as Kenny Omega took on Joey Janela, completely sanctioned. Their last encounter was unsanctioned. It was a lights out dark match. Basically, when they say lights out, it's unsanctioned. But yeah, their last match was a hardcore studded affair, and it was pretty good. This one was fantastic because while Joey Janela gets labeled as a hardcore guy, you forget how good of a wrestler he is without, the hardcore stuff. He does some crazy-ish, and he can sell like nobody's business, especially all those merciless V-triggers from the Cleaner himself. Speaking of the Cleaner, he put away the bad boy of professional wrestling with a V-trigger one-winged angel combo. Just these two guys beating the absolute dog-ish out of each other. Next, earlier in the night, during the SCU Dark Order match, because the crowd seemed to lull during it, we had the Inner Circle, Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. They were cutting through the crowd, going to their luxury box, and they stayed there up until this point. Next segment was a big announcement from Cody Rhodes, or from Cody, I should say. Yeah, they just listed him as Cody. It's second nature to slap on his last name. Anyway, he was in the ring. He was deliver some big announcement, but he kept getting interrupted by the Inner Circle, and of course, Cody kind of pot-shotted WWE with his threats towards Jericho. He said, "There's not an invisible wall that I can climb over, and I can to go over there and shut you up." So Jericho from his luxury box says, "Oh, it's 4-on-1. What are you gonna do?" And then of course out comes Dustin, Cody, and while Cody has his brother with him, Jericho's still taunting, saying, "Oh, it's 4-on-2. You're not gonna do anything." And out comes Cody's best friend, MJF, and says, "Okay, 4-on-3. Don't do something stupid." And of course, out comes Bang! DDP. It's him, it's him, it's DDP. So all four men head for the inner circle, ready to scrap. But the inner circle retreated to it's like some sort of room inside the skybox with a glass door. While the Nightmare family were outside, Jericho and his boys were, laughing at him. So MJF takes off his scarf, wraps it around Cody's fist, and he just busts open the door, going all hardcore-ish. And then all 8 men started to brawl. They brawled out into the concourse, and Cody kind of dipped Jericho's head into some Dippin' Dots. Anyway, the fight ended when security was kind of separating. Well, they were separating the Nightmare family because Jericho and his boys bought tickets, as Jericho kept yelling, and then he just stuck it to his forehead, saying, "I bought a ticket." Jericho. Next, we had more tag team action as the best friends are Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, and of course their other friend, Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, took on, and they totally spelled the name wrong, the Young Bucks. Of course, the Young Bucks came out second. They were getting ready to hit their Young Bucks pose in the ring, but they were interrupted by Orange Cassidy, who laid into them with some very, very vicious sweet chin music, those ankle bite super kicks. And of course, the brothers Jackson answered with a super kick of their own. This was a really good match. In the middle of all the action, the Young Bucks steal the best friends, steal their spotlight by hugging in the middle of the ring, and of course the camera kind of zooms out. Towards the end of the match, the Young Bucks get the win with more bang for your buck. Afterwards, they call out Santana and Ortiz and accept their challenge for Full Gear. Full Gear is shaping up to be a hell of a card, and of course we're going to do a preview on it. Anyway, but next up was the homecoming of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, as she took on Jamie Hayter. Not much to say here. It was a strangely competitive match, as the Doctor made her return to her hometown. They kind of kicked it off with a video package of her and her path to greatness, involving her years in dentistry school, and of course a random shot of her baby. Anyway, but she came out there, and she was decked out in Steelers colors because they were in Pittsburgh. She was accompanied by the Steelers mascot. Don't quote me, I don't know the name. Of course, she also was rocking a brand new jacket, where on the back was the Steelers logo, but instead of the stars on the Steelers logo is replaced by teeth that were color coded for the logo. I think it's red, yellow, blue. I think that's the Steelers logo. Anyway, it was really nice. Anyway, this match, no question who won. Britt Baker won with the lockjaw, Rings of Saturn with a mandible claw finish. Choice. Afterwards, Jamie Hayter is about to get interviewed when she just gets waylaid by Brandy Rhodes, who just kind of menacingly glares at the reporter. It was weird, but yeah, don't know where that's going. And finally, we go to our main event, as as two of the hottest stars in AEW's ranks came forth and collided in one-on-one affair as the paradigm shift. Jon Moxley squared off against the bastard Pac. Of course, as Mox was making his entrance, he was blasted in the back of the hair, well timed, I might add, to his pyro, by one bastardous Pac. Of course, Pac had the early offense as he was beating down Mox before the belly rung, and these two just kind of tit for tat. They just beat the absolute snot out of each other, just kind of one-upping each other, actually. However, in the end, since it was going to until show end, in the end, Mox hits paradigm shift, and Pac kicks out with 5 seconds left to spare. Mox goes for the cover. By the time referee goes for 3, time's up. And yep, for the second time in All Elite's history, there's been 2 draws. First was Darby Allin and Cody at Fyter Fest. This time, Mox and Pac. Time limit draw. Afterwards, beside himself, Mox nailed the referee with paradigm shift to close out the show. Another bang up, dynamic, no pun intended, episode of Dynamite. Of course, the definite highlight was that scrap between the Inner Circle and, of course, the Nightmare Family. Very fantastic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Plug time. If you miss Rod's opinions but hate his ugly face, he has a podcast, Prime Talk with Rodimus Prime, on the CastBox app. Make sure you go check it out. For all you sports fans out there, he talks basketball since the finals have just started up. Talks football, and of course he talks a little bit of wrestling. So go check him out. Leave him a comment. Tell him War Machine sent you. Anyway, that being said, I'm the greatest second place champion in 3-count history, as well as being the face of the 3-count Mafia. War Machine MJ, and I will see you guys next time.